Heather.
And I'm Cody. And on today's episode, we are going to be diving into building confidence in our children.
Every parent wants to do this, but sometimes we don't know how. And it's not just parents. It can be community members, aunts, uncles, grandparents, guardians, you name it. Today, we're going to dive into how we can do this.
All right.
In our ever-connected world, sometimes we can feel disconnected.
Yep.
Starting to build confidence with our kids starts with more focused time to start out with.
It's not the quantity, but the quality of our time together.
And we'll really dive into this, but it can look like a focused amount of time in the car, a bedtime routine, after dinner talks, going out to coffee with your teenager.
It can also also really look like being present.
And that's what we're talking about.
Right.
In our ever disconnected, more connected world, we often get out of presence, out of that alignment with being in this moment. Cody and I, this morning, we were both called to be very present today. And it's amazing how that presence can change your whole day.
It can shift everything, like in an instant. And being present is, it's talked about a lot, but I feel like sometimes we don't fully understand what it means. There's one thing in listening to the music that's playing, but really hearing it in your heart, hearing it in your body, hearing the words touch you deeply in your heart and soul. That's very different than just listening to it in the background. And so this is the presence that we're talking about. Sometimes I love using the body. It's one of the ways that I coach and teach.
Yep.
And that is, how does the feel of the breeze against your skin, how does it feel in your body? How does it feel in your hips? How does it feel as it's moving through your hair? When you're talking with your kids or, paying attention to your nieces and nephews, what are they really saying? Are you engaging with it? Are you playing with them? Mm-hmm. Are you responding and reacting? How do you feel in your body when you're with them? Are you fully present to what is happening?
Absolutely. Like my daughter, my youngest one is 5. And so we have this fun thing in the car. She loves to sing, right? And I love it when she wants to do this or play like I Spy or something, because I'm like, at that moment, I can choose to do something else, which sometimes I have to. I have to really focus on the road if the weather's weird, traffic's heavy. And I tell her that. I explain that, communicate that to her. But other times when I can give her some of my focus, I can be very present with her by singing with her. And she does this morning, it's fitting, because we sang Hakuna Matata.
Ooh, I love that one.
Hakuna Matata. No more worries for the rest of your days. It's a problem-free philosophy. Hakuna Matata.
Okay.
And at that point, so we do that part again in just a second. Right. But Olivia would be singing and she'd be like, okay, hang on, Mom, I'm going to sing. And then she'd be like, hit it, Mom. And I'd be like, Hakuna Matata, Hakuna Matata. And it brings you into such presence, because as parents or guardians or aunts or uncles or grandparents, whoever you are in a child's life, you have a lot going on, okay? You have your own life going on, and you have business, and you have adult responsibilities, okay? But one of our responsibilities to our children and in building confidence in the children in our community is being present with them. They may say they want all the toys and the whatever else. I'm going to tell you this. To build a confident child, they want your presence.
They need your presence.
They need your presence.
They need your presence. I have a really good story. So last night, I actually went out to dinner with my brother-in-law and sister-in-law and their little one, right? And my husband, of course. And she's like 2, maybe 2.5, right? So she doesn't really speak in complete sentences. She sometimes has full gibberish conversations with you.
Right.
And so I wanted to be really present, even though we were all at the table and we were all hanging out. I still wanted to include her in everything, right? So if we were showing a photo of something, I showed her. And at one point in the evening, she noticed that there were grapes on this picture that was framed on the wall, right? So pictures of grapes, and she was grabbing the grapes, pulling them, and then trying to give them to us. So she was playing this imaginary game. And at first you're kind of like, you don't know what they're doing, right? They're just kind of like doing this thing and they're going, ah, And they're like talking in their own language, right? And they're like, wanting to give it to you. And all of a sudden I heard her say, eat, eat. And that's when I registered, okay, she's trying to give these to me, so I'll eat them.
Yep.
So my choice in that was to be present enough to receive what she wanted, what she was playing with, what she was playing at, and to build confidence in her in the experience of not dismissing her game, but playing into it. So I would take the grapes and I would go, oh, nom, 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 nom. And she would just go, and then she would go get more grapes, right? So our job is to be so present in, even if it's gibberish. I was having full gibberish conversations with her when she was talking with me, right? I'd be like, and she'd be like, it was a full conversation. But it happened through presence. And that's actually helping her feel confident in herself, to play, to explore, to speak up and speak out, even if I don't understand.
Exactly. That's a huge one, to communicate.
And that's not a mother-daughter. That's an aunt. I'm aunt. I don't have kids, but that's how I can give her and teach and give to her the gift of confidence.
Right. And that's such a huge thing, because helping your children to learn how to do other things, no matter what age they are, like communicating it too. How's a 2-year-old going to communicate, right? How is a 5-year-old going to communicate? How is a 13-year-old going to communicate? I'm also a teacher, so of all age ranges. So I know the whole gamut, guys. If you have teenagers at home, I know.
We got you covered. So whatever your age with your child is, in that presence, you can help them learn things. Learning things, no matter what age we are in life, builds huge amounts of confidence in ourselves. Yep.
So help your child learn how to bake cookies, or how to do their own laundry. Help them with their homework, how to service a car, like do the brakes on a car, or change the oil, or plant a garden. Any of these things is going to help them build confidence.
Yes. And also in that, you can teach them through the act of, them messing up, them failing. What do they learn from the experience? I know that there is a story going around. I don't remember the name. I believe she's the owner and creator of Spanx, but I'm not 100% certain. I'm like 85% certain on that one. But she did talk about in her household, when they were being raised, her father wouldn't ask, how was your day? He would ask, what did you fail at today?
I love that.
And a way of like celebrating failures, and a way of, what did you fail at today and what did you learn from it? And so that was the conversation, that was the encouragement. And so she was actually encouraged to go out and fail every day and bring something home that she learned and grew from the experience.
I mean, what amazing confidence that builds in someone, that it's okay to fail. Often we put so much pressure on children to do
and
things.
On ourselves.
Yes, to be the perfect person, and them to be the perfect child, or, they must succeed at these things in this certain way. But what if we build it a different way? What if we have to let them know that they're going to fail sometimes, and that that's okay, and that that's a huge learning lesson and growing lesson.
Yeah.
And you may be saying, maybe I don't know how to help this child learn some new things. Well, in business a long time ago, I learned, and I use it in every aspect of my life now, is the show, tell, do, review method.
It's brilliant.
You show them something once, okay, so brushing teeth. You're teaching your young child how to brush their teeth. I suggest that you brush your teeth alongside them. Okay, so you show them, here's how we brush our teeth, and here's how long we take.
And you're telling them all about it.
Telling them all about it. Okay, then you have them do it.
And you watch them when they're doing it.
Yes.
But not like, watch them lovingly. Like, not just like, are you doing it? Are you doing it? Are you doing it?
And getting on them every second. But just watch them and let them do it. Okay, and they may just be like, did I do it right? And you're like, you did so good. That positive reinforcement, right? But now we're going to review it. And you teach them that a review, like they're going to get in jobs and with spouses and other things, because we review each other, right? That this review is not to put you down, but it's to help you grow.
Yes.
And so you review how you brush your teeth. You did really, really good on this one area, and you did really great getting your tongue brushed.
Maybe we could spend a little more time on your front teeth next time.
There it is. 2 praises for every 1 redirect.
Yes.
It will change things. Yep. I'm telling you.
2 praises for every redirect. Mm-hmm. And you can start to do this with other areas of your life, obviously, or if you have nieces and nephews, and they do something that is inappropriate. So I was hanging out with my 12-year-old niece. I think she was 12 at the time. And I was playing with her, and I kind of dipped my paintbrush. We were painting something for, I think, Easter.
Sure.
And so I dipped my paintbrush in her color green, and I went to paint it on mine because I didn't have green. Well, for whatever reason, it triggered a response for her that she got really upset and angry with me. And she took her paintbrush onto my plate and went like this with all of my colors, and just swirled them all together.
Okay.
And I just paused and I said, oh my goodness. I said, honey, why did you just get upset just then? What just happened? I was being playful and loving, and you got really angry and upset. Do you want to talk about that? Mm-hmm. So in that, I am showing her how to handle her energy and her frustration differently. Because did it frustrate me that she swirled all my paints together? Well, yeah, of course. And I could have gotten mad, and I could have disciplined her, and I could have done all these things. But instead, I wanted to show her there was a different way to respond to our emotional reaction. And I did tell her, I said, wow, that really upset me. Why did you do that? Where was that coming from? Mm-hmm. And she didn't at the time. She was like, I don't know. I just got really upset. I'm sorry. And I said, it's okay, but maybe there's a different way that we can handle when we get really upset instead of just reacting. And so I said, what could you have done differently? Could you have let me know that I upset you? She's like, yeah, I could have said, that upset me. I said, okay. I said, I'm sorry. I did not mean to upset you. But in that, I got to show her a different way of handling the situation. Again, it takes a community to raise our kids.
And that's what Cody's talking about, is being a good role model. So, sorry, adults, but not sorry. It's our job to be good role models for these children around us.
Amen.
Whoever you are and whatever circumstance you are around a child, that is your job. So whoever I'm speaking to out there, okay? Because the thing is, if you say one thing and you do another,
you're not a good role model.
You're not a good role model, and your child is going to do what you do, not what you say.
Yep.
You have to have follow through.
If we go back to the show, tell, do, review, right? You're showing them with your actions.
You are.
That's going to be more valuable than you telling them.
And look, we're not all perfect, okay? None of us are perfect.
We've all made mistakes. I made mistakes.
And you're going to make mistakes around kids. Whether you're the parent or someone else in a child's life, you're going to make mistakes. You can own up to that mistake to that child.
Yes.
To both of my kids, if I've raised my voice or I've been, irritated or frustrated, I have later gone to them and said, hey, Mom, I acted in the moment. We're all human.
Yep.
But I am going to work on that.
Yep.
And often, both of them will say, well, you know what? I'm going to work on this in my life. I don't have to ask them, and I don't go to them saying, okay, well, I messed up here, so I'm going to work on this. What are you going to work on? I don't do that. If they don't say anything, they're like, okay, and they can just accept that Mom messed up, raised her voice, whatever, right?
I have a really good story about that.
Yeah.
Can I share it?
Of course.
So it's actually a story of me when I was a kid, and a very memorable event that I will never forget of my mom actually taking responsibility for something.
Okay.
And I was a little girl. I was, I don't know, maybe 6, maybe 7. I was old enough to know what I was doing. So maybe I was a little older. So maybe 8. But I wasn't necessarily old enough to not know how to respond to some of my own fears and stuff that were happening. So we were baking cookies. I remember it, we were baking peanut butter cookies. And the last cookie ended up being one big cookie. And every time my mom had put the kind of tray into the oven, and I really wanted to do it, right? And she's teaching me, she's showing me how to do these things, but she kept saying, don't, slam it in. You wanted to put it in gently. And so the last sheet had one cookie on it, looked like a heart. And I was going to put it in. She's going to let me put it in. I was so excited. And I went to go put it in. The heat of the oven hit me. I got scared and I slammed it in really hard. And it popped in and it popped back out. Not all the way, but almost all the way. And my mom got really upset with me and spanked me on the butt while I was in front of the oven and my hands went right down on the oven.
Oh my gosh.
And it didn't hurt. And it didn't hurt me. It's the whole thing startled me and all of those things. But I want you to hear as a mother, everything that you feel right now in yourself of, oh God, I just did that thing. I reacted and it hurt my child. I'm a terrible, like, that was everything my mother went through, right? She immediately picked me up. She goes, look at me, show me your hands. I'm so sorry. she put water on them and she sat me down and she said, I'm gonna need a minute. I'll be right back. And I think she went, and I can see it now older, right? At a younger age, I was just like, oh my God, what happened? And I scared my mom. I'm so sorry, Mom. Like, my immediate reaction was,
right.
I'm sorry, Mom. I didn't mean to. Like, I didn't mean to also make you upset, because she was crying as she was trying to make me feel better. And she stepped away, and then she came back and she took me into her lap and she said, Mommy didn't handle that right. And Mommy hurt you and she's really sorry. And I still remember that today, of like the power of admitting that you're imperfect, but that you did it for these reasons. She broke it down for me. She's like, I did it because, I have been trying to tell you not to, and that was where I was coming from, but I should not have handled it that way, and I will make sure that I will handle it differently in the future. And I immediately was like, well, I am sorry. You were right. I shouldn't have just slammed it. I got scared. Yeah. And she goes, that's a normal response. It's totally normal. But I will remember that event, and I hope that if I ever mess up as a mom in my future, or as an aunt, or as any adult in a child's life, I hope that I can take ownership of my mistakes and help the kids around me understand that we're all human and we do make those mistakes, and we can have grace and compassion for ourselves and own up for what we have done.
And what confidence that builds in children. Yes. And what confidence that builds in you as a parent and as well.
It also builds confidence in being vulnerable. She was very vulnerable in that, in owning the mistake. And I got to have grace in my heart in that. And I still remember that today, at like fucking 35, right. What happened when I was 9.
And kids will remember. They will do what you do, and they will remember. And so really also watch that dialogue you've got with yourself. Oh my gosh, I look so fat today. Oh my gosh, I just hate my hair. I do not like that blank race of people. Okay?
Be careful.
Be careful. Because also when you say like, oh, I don't want to be in the family photo today. Don't take a picture of me today. I don't like what I look like. Your children are getting that spoon fed to them.
They're getting that message.
It's coming in loud and clear.
So watch your own criticism. Mm-hmm. Watch when you're going into fear mode. Watch when you're going into judgments. Watch when you're going into unrealistic expectations of yourself, of others.
Yeah, because it leads into these harsh criticisms. And if we are very self-judgmental, we often will inadvertently criticize others, because we don't feel good about ourselves. And Cody and I, in our other videos that you guys can check out, we talk a lot on the inner work. We're responsible for ourselves, because whatever we do in here comes out there.
Yep.
There's a lot out here we can't control, but we can control this.
Yep.
And harsh criticisms can make kids go into fear mode of thinking we're constantly going to get in trouble, or that we can never do something correctly.
Or that we're never good enough.
I always want my kids to know that they're good enough, right? And when kids know that they are good enough, that even if they fail, everybody's going to fail at some point, that they are worthy and deserving of everything in this universe.
This can kind of bring into, making sure that you're praising your kids, or, lifting them up. And we want to make sure we're doing that in wise ways, in ways that are really serving their highest growth, right? So that it doesn't always look like praising them with like things, right. Oh, well, if you're good, then, I'll give you that treat. That can be very helpful. I'm not dismissing it.
It can. As a mom, Totally used it.
Screen time, cookies, candy, absolutely. So no dissing on that.
Right.
But also help them understand that there's praise in doing a good job, and that can come from, oh my God, you did such a great job. Let's celebrate it, right? We talked about in last week's kind of episode about walking in confidence for yourself is celebrating. Teach them how to celebrate the small wins, the big wins, so that they can start to build this, they're good enough through the praising of what they're doing in the little things.
Yes.
So I just want to kind of bring that in, praising their efforts instead of the outcome is also really important.
Absolutely. And you can always redirect on things, but praise them for the action of doing.
Yes.
Okay? So if you ask them, you've done show, tell, do, review on the bedroom, or you've come up with a fun game to clean the bedroom, okay? Or whatnot, even with teenagers, you may say, okay, we're going to go bowling. If you can keep this room clean for an entire week, make something fun, right? But say your teenager cleans their room, but their closet floor, the shoes aren't organized, but all the shoes are in the closet. Can we please praise that teenager for trying really hard on that room?
Yes.
Okay? Because teenagers are going through a bunch of emotions.
A bucket load of hormones.
Puberty, we have to remember what we were like, okay?
God, bleh.
Oh, there's so much to process. Your entire being is processing so much.
Yes.
And so we can redirect, but it's on that, 2 praises for every redirect. Praise that kid for cleaning that bedroom, okay? If we look at things in our own life, there's always a way we could do something better or,
or the
succeed more,
the way,
whatever.
The way that it might not have been exactly to the perfection image that we wanted.
Right.
But it's important to support what is being done. And some of these might be things that you need to look at for yourself.
Yeah.
Like maybe you need to give yourself praise twice for every redirect.
Ooh, who'd you just talk to?
Are you not praising yourself? You're just going straight to how it wasn't good enough and how it wasn't perfect enough. Maybe start to look at that within yourself of how can you give yourself that so you can show up and practice in that with your kids, with the children in your life. Because really, like when you're guiding other people, you have to be the guide.
Yes.
You have to have walked the path. So in order to give that guidance, you have to first step into that role for yourself. So
positive self-talk.
Yep.
It goes a long way, people.
A really long way.
When we talk positively, even when maybe we don't feel it at first with ourselves, right? But we're talking positive, good things to ourselves. It's going to build our own confidence. And our children are going to watch that no matter what age they are. You can be watching this and say, my kids are grown, okay? My kids are in their 40s. And, oh, woe is me. I did all these things that you guys said, don't do. Yikes, don't do it. And now my kids are having this or that or whatever. There's no judgment in this video.
No.
Okay? There's no judgment. And the thing is that if you want to start with positive self-talk for yourself and to influence your children no matter what age they are, start today.
Yep.
It's an invitation to get started.
Because guaranteed, there have been clients I have known that have started to work on their stuff and their grown children have seen them change. Yep. And those grown children then say, you know what, I think I'm going to start to work on myself like you've been working on yourself. You've inspired me. Or your nieces and your nephews that you spend a lot of time with will feel inspired by how you have changed or grown or treat them differently. So you don't know who you're going to impact. Start today. Because you just don't know. You just don't know. You got to show up to it. All right. So we always like to leave you with some actionable items.
Yes. So let's start with number 1.
Number 1.
Pick a time during your daily routine to connect fully with your children. Talk about things that matter to them and give them lots of positive self-talk. Often in life, as parents, we may be tired of hearing about Susie's friends at school and how they played Frozen for the 847th time. That is really, really, really important to your children, because them playing Frozen for the 800 and something time is them building connections, is them building communication and friendships and learning, okay? So listening to them and engaging about that. Okay, what character were you today? Oh, you were Olaf for the 847? Okay, you really like Olaf. What is it about Olaf that you really, really like?
Yeah.
What character do you as a parent like in Frozen? Now, I don't like Frozen because I'm an adult and that's a kid's movie, and there's probably a character you relate to. Listen.
There's probably a character somewhere that we resonate with.
I went to see Encanto with Olivia.
I really need to see this movie.
Bring a box of tissues. It's so good. I was like, halfway through, I'm like, oh, I can relate so much.
I was that way with Coco.
Oh, this one's worse.
I love Coco.
Oh, you're gonna. Coco's amazing. Yeah, Encanto's amazing. But
or Inside Out. Oh, it's so good.
And if you're watching something with your kid, this is that connecting fully with your kid. Maybe really connect with, why do they like this show? Kind of get into it. Push yourself to get into this thing, right?
And ask them. Be curious, you know? Those are really important parts of being present.
If they're older, same thing.
Why are they really into, you know, a weird rock band or a weird rap band
Anime
that you cannot stand? What is it about it that excites you? How can you connect with that? How can you, you know, connect your own experience with that?
My older daughter that came into my life later in my life, the other day we had breakfast and she had told me how, you know, college was great for a while, but she'd gotten this amazing tattoo apprenticeship and she really wanted to go after it. I said, yeah, cool. You're in your 20s. You're doing your thing. You tried this one thing. You're doing this other thing and you're seeing success. You're being confident. And she said, that's it. I'm really confident at this.
So go do it.
Go do what you're confident about. Let's let our children have that freedom to become who they are, because we really, as parents and people in the community, we want to guide kids in the way we believe that they should go, okay? But the world is changing, and we are getting older, and they are younger, and they are the next generation of this planet.
And the way we feel like they should go might not be the way that their path is truly leading them.
Right.
We have to let them find their own path, as difficult and challenging as that is.
Because we may see them creating this world that is so different from our own and living in that. Well, guys, that's the world that is going to be. And how can we support that? How can we bring out the positives in that? What are the positives?
Right.
What are they fighting for, right? So Number two,
find moments each day to teach your children and to let them try the things you're teaching them, right? So a really great example of this actually is my sister-in-law with her daughter Annabelle. So they like to, you know, she likes to cook, she likes to bake, she likes to clean, she does all the things, right? And so Annabelle has her own little mixing bowl that she mixes her imaginary stuff with. And also when she's helping mom, she helps scoop the flour in, right? You know, her mom will kind of scoop it into the measuring cup and then she'll dump it in the bowl, right? So there's ways to let them learn, showing them. There's ways to let them try it and do it themselves. And then there's ways to kind of teach them through the process of how to do it better, what to think about differently, and to be mindful of the age that they're in, right? 2-year-old doesn't need to know how to scoop it off, you know, scoop the flour off of the measuring cup with a butter knife to make it perfectly flat. A little kid does not need to know that. Maybe you do that, and they learn that over time, that when they get older, they say, why do you do that? And then you can teach them, you can tell them then. So it's learning to just really be both present, but then find each moment where you can actually teach your kids and let them try it themselves to build confidence.
Absolutely.
And number 3,
journal about positive things about yourself and positive things about your child.
Boom.
It is wonderful. Most young children love to draw and create, or if they are given blank paper, they can draw and create and whatnot, right? So if you yourself are journaling, give them a little journal. Show them how you're doing it. Show them how you're putting your emotions on paper. Show them how you're writing about positive things about yourself, about your day, what to be grateful for. A big thing we work on with our kids is, in the whole family, is really being grateful for the country that we live in and for the things that we have And we also write about how we're no different than anyone else.
Yep.
And we write about those ways. And for kids, they draw pictures and whatnot. And then encouraging older children to, have that diary, have that book. There's a whole thing when you write on paper. It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing because you actually, it engages your brain, your body. It allows you to get the thoughts out of your head and onto paper and really see them in a different way instead of just having them being playing on repeat. So there's a lot of value. There's a lot of value to that.
Yeah.
All right.
We hope you enjoyed this video today and that you got a lot from it. And we look forward to hearing from you on new things that you're doing with your kids, no matter what age they are.
Yeah, we would love to hear. How do you help build confidence in your kids? How do you help change their life and influence them? And if you really liked this video, please like it.
Yes.
Please subscribe to this podcast or a channel.
Share it with your friends. And if you love all of the amazing content you get from us sassy soul sisters,
please consider supporting the show and all that we do with a small monthly donation.
That's going to help us sustain future episodes and give you guys even more content.
Because honestly, we give this from our hearts.
Yes.
We love doing it, and we just do this for fun. So, you know, we would love the support.
Yes, we sure would. And you can go to support us at anchor.fm/sassysoulsisters/support.
All right.
We will see you for our cosmic weather report next Monday.
On Monday.
Until then.
And next week, we're going to dive into the topic of confidence in relationships. Another place where we don't always feel confident. So,
and a big thing for Cody and I that people often ask us on is stuff about relationships.
Yes.
So this is definitely one.
Definitely going to be a good one. So tune in next Friday.
Yep. And we'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye. That was really good.
That was good.
I loved your parts. That was so great.
Thanks.
Because people have to realize how we support kids, that the whole community supports kids in being confident in their life.
Well, and I feel, I've told you this before, sometimes I feel uncomfortable or not confident in talking about situations that I technically don't experience, right? I am not a mother. I don't experience raising a child, but I experience raising, supporting, guiding children in life because I'm an aunt. I have kids all around me of all different ages. I may not spend as much time with them as a parent does, but I still feel like, if you have aunts, you have uncles, you have grandparents, you have all kinds of people.
There's Big Brothers and Big Sisters program.
Yeah.
Where, people do that. They're not related to the kids per se.
Well, and I think sometimes it's like, you meet a kid out in, just a stranger's kid and you talk to them.
Yeah.
But how you are and who you are and how you respond and how you talk to them can shape them.
Yeah, like one teacher that teaches with me, yesterday we had a little dude. He's like 5 or 6 and he's adorable, but he had a meltdown because we were getting ready. The day was kind of chaotic and we had to set up 2 different rooms in the middle of me having all the kids for a recess inside in the cold weather. Super crazy to him.
Great.
Well, awesome. He escaped me. All the kids are sitting, all 20 some of them are sitting on the wall. I said, you got to sit over here to be safe and be protected while we put this wall up because it's multiple sections and it's dangerous, right? This little dude got away from me. And all of a sudden, we hear one of the ladies at the center, and she's like, oh my God! And like freaked out because he had gotten back there to try to help with the wall. And he's like this big.
Oh.
Okay. And so then he freaked out because she's freaking out like when you touch the stove.
Naturally.
And we get him out of there, and all the other kids don't know what to do because he's full 5-year-old meltdown.
Oh, poor thing.
Couldn't breathe, whole thing. And so I'm like calling for the other teacher. And I called for her, and I'm like, either you got to take them or you got to take him because he needs individual time.
Yeah.
And she's like, I got him. She doesn't have any kids. And she sat with him, then she comes back, and she's like, I need his water bottle. And all the water, and she's like, let me find out what it looks like. All the water bottles up there. She comes back in, Spider-Man water bottle. I'm like, okay. And she's like, he's saying, I want to be with my mom. I don't want to be with you. And she's like, cool. I was like, do we need to call mom? She's like, oh, no, I've got this. So she went out and she told him, and he's like, I want my mom, not you. I'd rather be anywhere but with you. At 5, like he's full meltdown.
Of course.
And she's like, honey, I'm sure you would rather be anywhere than with me. She's like, I am like one of the strict teachers. She's like, but listen, mom will be here in 2 hours. Until then, mom's not going to be here. And we have to get through this. So, you know, I'm sitting out here with you. We have limited time. Miss Heather's going to need you back in there. So we're going to need to process this. And she did a great job.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she got him all the way through it. And we told mom at the end, and mom was like, wow. And I told her, I was like, you'd be a great mom. And she's like, I know, I am never having children. I was like, okay. She's like, but I will always teach
having
them.
children. Ugh.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't mind. I've opened myself up over the years.